I have a PDF document here and I want to know what the size of the trim box is. So essentially I want the width and height of the trim box. And I want to put it in a variable. And so the question is, how do I do that? And the answer is I'm going to use a little bit of JavaScript. I prepared a little process plan, and that process plan has one step in it, which is a JavaScript variable step. So that is cool. And now when I double click that, I get my JavaScript. And I cheated a little bit, as you can see. I have a small comment there. I'll explain what it is in a second. But essentially, I want to now calculate, let's say, the width of the trim box. The height would be exactly the same. How do I go about that? Well, the first thing I will do is I will create a local variable and we'll call that TrimBox width. And now I need to know how to calculate the width of the trim box. And instead of typing stuff and being wrong, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use insert JavaScript objects. And in this dialog box, I can search for TrimBox. And I have a number of things, a number of JavaScript objects that have TrimBox in it. You can see that there are TrimBox right and TrimBox bottom and TrimBox top, but there is also effective TrimBox. And that's the one I am going to choose. What is the difference? Well, the effective TrimBox property that I have here takes into account things like page scaling and page rotation, and that is really what I want in this case. So that inserted the app.doc.pages effective TrimBox right into my JavaScript, but it gave me a generic variable here, I, which I don't have in my script. I just want the first page, and for developers, as you know, the first page is page number 0. So that gives me what I want, and then what is the width? The width is right minus left. And so essentially I need the same thing that I have here, but I want it with the left. And so I'm going to copy paste that and then just change this to left. Now, what does that give us? I can go and switch on evaluation results, and if I want to know, I could do something like console info and then TrimBox width. And the TrimBox width is shown at the bottom. You can see that it's a quite high number. The reason for that is PDF uses points inside, and so these values that you calculate using app.doc are usually in points. Now I want it in millimeter, and that is why this little cheating comment comes into play, because that allows me to say right minus left, and then I'm going to multiply that in order to get millimeter. And now at the bottom, you can see it's small, but it says 210 dot something. And so my file is 210 millimeter wide in this case. Now, by the way, the fact that it doesn't say 210, but 210.00 and then something is the reason that when you compare with TrimBox, or you do anything like that, that you really should always use tolerances, because in a PDF document, a TrimBox is hardly ever an exact size. It's always a fraction. But anyway, this is how you calculate the size of the TrimBox in a JavaScript variable. And then what I could do now is, I don't need the console part anymore. What I could do is I could say app.vars.TrimBox width, for example, equals TrimBox width. And what that does is it takes this local variable that I calculated and it puts it into the app.vars area. And app.vars is the variable area where pdfToolbox keeps all of its variable information. And so when I do this, this information is now saved for the remainder of the process plan.